mucker, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing very well. Okay, at the time of filming this video, this drama is going absolutely batshit crazy with Gabbie Hanna. People are speaking up, people who were there are speaking up, people directly involved that Gabbie is calling out are speaking up, and it is just by the second going like this and going like this. And now, here's the thing, I'm not filming in my normal location. By the way, this is my plaster from getting vaccinated. I don't think, well, it is kind of nasty, but like don't think it's something like other nasty than that. It's just fun, I guess. So it's currently 2 in the morning right now, and I have to get on a flight in, I think 3 hours. I don't know, don't quote me on that. And so I'm like rushing out the door to go, and then all of this is erupting. So you bet I put my suitcase down and I'm now over here sitting down. So sorry for the change of location, but we've just got to talk about this. So we are aware that Gabbie Hanna made the expose video on Joey Graceffa and his boyfriend Daniel. We covered that, and in my video, at the time of filming that, again, I'm doing these videos in like order and you can watch them. This week has been absolutely fucking chaotic. I talk about, you know, the information that Gabbie presents, because at that time it was only Gabbie's narrative. And Gabbie was responding to Daniel and Joey shit-talking her for all of these years whenever they were saying that she was a diva to work with, a nightmare to work with, just the worst person ever. And Gabbie said, you know, you've spoken, it's now my turn to speak, and that is what she did. And she basically said many things, and in certain parts I was like, damn, if I was put through that, you know, I would be pissed off. Now we're getting told the full picture with proof, and more proof to come from Joey. He did a sit-down expose video, that those things that Gabbie said, she conveniently seemed to leave out information to make the narrative. Obviously, how even I was like, damn, like that, you know, must have been horrible. One of the things was that Gabbie was struggling with an ED, and they didn't have the dietary requirement selection that she needed, that she asked for. And I made the issue in my video. I was like, for sure, this is something that Joey should have had, you know, options for everyone, and I still do stand by that. However, we're now being told by Joey, and with proof, that Gabbie Hanna was sent out a dietary requirement and a medical form that she refused to fill out, allegedly. And we have proof that Gabbie didn't fill it out because Joey includes it in the video, a video of Gabbie saying that she's filling out the medical information there on the spot, which she should have done weeks prior, or days prior. Therefore, her argument about them not accommodating to her dietary, it's like, how the hell would they know? And so my argument in being able to stand up for her in that, again, I'm not a Gabbie Hanna fan, but I was like, oh, that would have upset me. No, it wouldn't upset me because I would have filled out the form, and Gabbie should have filled out the form, and how dare her now paint Joey and Daniel as these horrible people who were trying to trigger her ED because they didn't have the food she wanted, whenever, now think, just pack your own fucking lunch. But it's like, she did that, and she was in the wrong. And the other thing was about, I'm really jumping ahead of myself, I will be more structured, but I just have so much to say. The next thing was that she was obviously struggling with an ED and body image issues, and she asked for her costume to be more comfortable, less form-fitting, less restrictive. And again, I agreed with her on that. As someone who has struggled with body issues, I completely get that, especially Gabbie brings it up all the time, but in this instance, I think it matters about ADHD. You know, whenever you have ADHD, sometimes wearing things that are too tight can be very triggering. I completely get that. Gabbie overusing ADHD though. So in this, the argument was that, you know, she tried to get them to change the clothing and make it less restrictive, and they didn't, and they were refusing, and this made her so uncomfortable, and blah, 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 like everyone's against her. Now we're being shown by Joey with email proof that Gabbie didn't show up to 2 of the fittings, and on top of that, they made so Joey made the 9 months pregnant costume designer go to Gabbie Hanna's music studio, allegedly, to do the fitting there because Gabbie didn't want to go out of her way to go to the studio, even though she's in a contract about this. And then Gabbie stands up the 9 months pregnant costume designer who went all the way across town to go to Gabbie, because she's busy, even though, okay, so I have some screenshots here, and then I want to get to, like, different parts of Joey's video, but are you, like, can you believe that this is happening? Gabbie Hanna did not need to make that video exposing Joey and Daniel, because now she has the entire YouTube community coming for her. And I don't mean drama channels, I don't mean tea channels, I don't mean commentary, I don't even mean journalists. I mean everyone who was there on Escape the Night, which was this YouTube original show, Joey's show, that Gabbie was a part of. It's a bunch of YouTubers. Now all of these YouTubers who were there on that show are speaking up against Gabbie and being able to give, like, witness accounts that Gabbie was an absolute bitch. And it's like, Gabbie didn't need to do this. She didn't need to be a bitch on set, and she didn't need to bring it up years later like she does with everything that has now just, it's like career S-word. You know, I don't want to say it too triggering, but you know what I mean. Like, Jesus, how can one person be very dumb? Because that's where I'm at with this. Let's get to these screenshots. So we have some emails here, okay? So here we have one that says, you know, responding to Gabbie Hanna, Escape the Night Season 4, cast insurance form and questionnaire. Per Gabbie, she will be filling out and delivering the below forms in person today. I have informed her they must be filled out before she goes, set filming can begin. As far as dietary restrictions, she has informed me she is allergic to mangoes, doesn't eat sugar, and doesn't consume dairy. So here we have it. She's going to fill them in person today. So whenever she's supposed to have done the forms ages, like, imagine being Gabbie Hanna's manager. Imagine being her PA. Imagine being, and the embarrassing emails that you're having to send. You know, literally they say, I have informed her they have to be filled out before she goes to set, but you know, she's going to be filling them out today. And on top of that, like, say she filled them out late or whatever like that, she could have just brought her own food, but on top of that, why did she then make an expose video on Joey and Daniel as if it was a big setup whenever she just didn't do the work that every other YouTuber did? It's insane. So here we have another email, and it's about the wardrobe fitting. Hi, we shoot this show beginning Monday, 3/11. We need her, as in Gabbie, as soon as possible because we need to fit her for the costume. Makes sense. Is there any way you can make this happen? Is there another time tomorrow? It just seems like a nightmare to be able to get Gabbie, and Gabbie Hanna is not booked and busy. Is not booked and busy. Like, what is the excuse? Joey told us that she was busy at the music studio. At the music studio? Right. Okay. Whenever she's literally in a contract with this show, and looking back on it, in my first video, I was like, you know, I can feel Gabbie out in a bit, you know, where she's saying about having to, like, sit around for, like, 10, 12-hour days. Now I'm like, no, that's what happens on a set. That's what happens on a set. You wait around. You are not always the star of the show, and Joey brings that up, and it's such a good point. So we have another 3 emails. Let's get to these, and then we're going to get to certain parts in Joey's videos that I find very interesting. I have conveyed the information discussed, but unfortunately, this is Gabbie's team, but unfortunately Gabbie has a shoot today and cannot go to Universal for the fitting. The only way she would do the fitting would be if you come to her studio. So you're telling me that every other YouTuber on this show, Escape the Night, has to go to this, but no, not Gabbie Hanna, not Gabbie Hanna. You know what Gabbie's gonna do? Gonna make them come to her because she's too busy recording her record-breaking music that 2012-year-olds are gonna listen to at most. Booked and busy. Booked and busy. Right. Here we have another one. Hi, just checking in. When will we get Gabbie? Let me know. So it seems like, and judging by these dates as well, they are persistently, literally begging. When are they going to see Gabbie Hanna for the fitting? And the nerve of Gabbie Hanna to now come on and say that they were trying to set her up with, you know, going against her wishes and giving her restrictive clothing, and that was triggering her ED and body issues. What? What? Like, it's almost too ridiculous. Like, why would Gabbie do this when she knows from someone who is so psychotic, who keeps every text message from fucking 20 years ago? Would you not know that there's an email history that is going to call you out on your bullshit? No. Maybe Gabbie was too busy looking at all the old iMessages that she didn't even look at her fucking Gmail account. Because Joey has all this proof that he found within hours. And Joey is saying in this video, which we'll get to, that he's now going to look for the audio of Gabbie erupting on the PA and erupting on the director on set, and that's going to expose how she really is on set. And I'm telling you now, if that comes out, that's going to be the end of Gabbie Hanna. Like, all of her credibility, it's already gone, but that's it. She made an expose video on people that she was so in the wrong for that we didn't even know the full extent that she was in the wrong for. How does this make sense? It doesn't. It doesn't. It really, really doesn't. Okay. So, last email. Hi, good talking with you finally. Tomorrow between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. will work for wardrobe. The earlier the better. Okay, so basically, and then whenever it was actually a case of Gabbie can come, it's between these hours. It's like, when you're in a contract like this, you're in it for a reason. Okay, so I have some points from Joey's video, then I actually have like 3 clips I want to show from it. So, Joey says that at the time of Gabbie being on Escape the Night, he decided to bring her on because Gabbie was not liked in the YouTube space. Haha, that aged well, she's still loved in the YouTube space. That Gabbie was hated in a lot of drama and people were very negative against her, and Joey thought it would be nice to invite her on the show because the show is very popular, it has a devoted fan base, you know, all these other YouTubers in it, and it would give her a chance of a new rebirth on YouTube of, you know, people seeing her in a different light and acting and so exciting. Joey said that he didn't need to invite her on, he didn't want to invite her on, and whenever he gave her the chance because he felt like bad for her and was trying to involve her, and then she was going against that and it just contradicted what he said. It's like, she was given this golden opportunity. She's on billboards outside of VidCon, like, I mean huge billboards. This is a big deal, YouTube original show. And she's not grateful for it, and not only not grateful about it, making apparently the on-set living hell, and beforehand, before they even got to set, living hell as well. So he was like, excuse me for inviting you on a show that you would get support from. Then he said that Gabbie's point about bringing up ADHD is null because he said that most of the cast had ADHD in terms of like sitting around or whatever. And he brings up the point, he's like, how dare you complain about being paid thousands upon thousands of dollars for what you're saying is just sitting in an expensive, you know, trailer. If you're not doing work, you're sitting there getting paid thousands upon thousands of dollars. I hate rich people complaining about being rich. So then he talks as well that Gabbie actually approved the outfit that she wore in the end, but the measurements were a bit wrong because she didn't show up to the fittings. And then again that she made the 9 months pregnant costume designer drive to her studio, then stood her up. Then Joey said that Gabbie refused to show up at call times and the PA told Gabbie to show up at a certain time, and Gabbie started cussing them out, apparently calling everyone CUNTs. Alright. And says that she's not going to go, and then Gabbie's manager was reached out to, and she was, or I don't know if it was whoever, they apologized, they said they were so embarrassed, and they said that they want to drop Gabbie because it's just one thing after the other. I can imagine having to work as Gabbie Hanna as your client. So, Joey then said that he got so much backlash that season of the show because there was, I don't know, I didn't watch it, but apparently there was a double kill where 2 characters went at once, and Gabbie's was one of them. He said that it wasn't supposed to go like that, but Gabbie was such a nightmare to work with that they just immediately on that day wrote on for her to get killed off. How bad does it have to be that that has to happen? Now I want to go to, I think like 3 timestamps of interesting points. So this is the first one. I'm going to let it play for like 10 seconds.
A living hell by being disrespectful and rude and mean and foul to not only cast, but crew. Screaming at the director, demanding things, and calling a production assistant a dumb cunt is not how you...
What? How was this allowed on like a production set? Escort the woman out!
Act on set of one of your friends, not even just your friend, any set in general. That's not how you act, regardless of your mental health issues. This is not how you act.
Fair point. Fair point. It's so hard to fathom all of this. And the fact that then Gabbie made it about her that she was the victim. And so now we have Joey speaking about how Gabbie said that at any given time Joey was willing to shit talk Gabbie, and he's like, here's proof that I wasn't, which is also very interesting. Again, his video is literally phenomenal. His video is so good. And it seems like he's only getting started, so.
Awful, but I never once said your name, Gabbie.
And only one out of all 4 seasons someone like had an issue with dying.
Oh, there was one in season 4 too.
Not this being an interview with Trisha.
Really?
Yeah, that was, season 4 was my least favorite to film by far.
Why?
Just because
Drama.
of this one person on the cast who just made it hell.
Really? And how do you stay out of like not talking about drama? You never talk about things. I would call people out left, right, and center.
Honestly, I could have, and I could have like exposed a lot of receipts, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I don't put out that energy. People were
Very interesting that Joey literally has proof that he didn't say Gabbie's name, and instead people were able to assume it was Gabbie because of Gabbie's own reputation. That's on Gabbie. I'm sorry. Okay, and then the final timestamp I want to show you is right here.
her. So we planned the double dab, which a lot of people were upset about, but now you know the real reason why there was a double dab. The next day I took Gabbie aside, and of course she had a million things to say. She had all these excuses of what was going on with her and how
It seems like everyone says that about Gabbie.
she's the victim. And I'm in producer headspace.
Gabbie, I am the fucking victim! Hannah.
It's like, I need to make sure that this production goes as smoothly as possible. There's millions of dollars on the line, and I'm not about to let this girl fuck this up for me. So I'm just nodding my head like, yeah, girl, don't worry, everything's fine. Like,
And this is such a great point. Like, I literally, in even my first video, was criticizing Joey a bit too hard in terms of being like a producer or whatever. I'm realizing I've worked on film sets, like even like student ones, and it is fucking stressful, and he had every right to be rude to Gabbie, and he didn't. So, I mean, good on him for being professional. I wouldn't have in that fucking situation. I wouldn't have fucking been professional at all. But, like, good on him for standing up for his employees, creating a good work environment, and getting rid of the bad work environment. Jesus Christ, I can't believe Gabbie, like, set herself up like this. Again. Like, dear Lord, dear fucking Lord. I can't. It honestly is, like, a bit too stupid to be real. Joey Graceffa does not get involved in drama. Publicly. The fact he's getting involved, the fact his ex-boyfriend is now getting involved, the fact all these YouTubers are getting involved to, like, speak the truth on Gabbie, and they weren't going to do that, but Gabbie is speaking the truth about them. I can't believe Gabbie is burning every single bridge in the YouTube space for 100,000 views max. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I don't know. Seems like it is for Gabbie. I want to know what your opinion is. We can talk about it below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, dear Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. Okay, bye. I'm gonna go catch my flight. Bye.